Longing. Rusted. 17. Homecoming. 1. Freight car. Soldier. Hey guys, Colin Big Yosh here, and today we're going to be continuing the MCU marathon with Captain America Civil War. If you don't know what that skit I just did was about, then watch the movie. Alright, so this is the third entry in the Captain America trilogy, and it is regarded by many as a great film, you know? And I think it's a great film too. I didn't write as many notes down as I did for the other one, so it might be a shorter video, but I don't know, I just think that I was having so much fun watching it that I couldn't write down a ton. I only have like one page. But I guess it just shows that this movie is fun, and it's just really engaging to watch. So I think that the thing that I like about this movie the most is the characters, because the characters are really good in this movie. They're all going through something, and they all have their own little character arcs, except for a couple of them that are just there for like cameos and stuff, just there to make the roster of superheroes feel complete. But still, they're good additions. I like how it's basically Avengers 2.5, as everybody says. It brings back a lot of characters from Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier. Like, in the beginning, we get Agent Rumlow, who's the bad guy he's one of the bad guys from the Winter Soldier, and he comes back as Crossbones, which is cool. And it showcases how the new Avengers have been doing. I guess we can talk about all the characters now. There are a lot of characters though, so this might take a little while. So I like that Steve goes from being a soldier in his first film to in this film where he's a total vigilante, and at some points I'm really not rooting for him. And personally, I think I would be on Team Iron Man, because both sides are right in some cases, and both sides are wrong in some ways. But I'd probably be on Team Iron Man because they're not being a total vigilante. Cap is kind of being stupid in some of this movie, where I know he's defending his friend, but he is attacking random people just to save one guy. And it's not very heroic. But I do understand why he didn't sign the Accords, because, his experiences in the Winter Soldier makes him not trust the government anymore, because he thinks that this one might be corrupted as well. And that's just a really cool character arc that he goes through. And they even bring back some lines, like they bring back his iconic line from the first movie. They start the Captain America trilogy where he says, I could do this all day, with him in the alley. And then they end it with him fighting Tony and saying, I could do this all day. Also, Tony, he is very guilty about the Ultron incident, and also how his weapons from when he was a weapons dealer, he just feels guilty about all the destruction that he's caused in the world. And that's why he wants to be put in check, and that's why he signs the Accords. And he's right in some ways. Like, they do need to be put in check, because there's some stuff that happens in this movie, and obviously in Sokovia from Age of Ultron, they do need to be put in check. I totally agree with him. I would definitely be on his side. And I think that the lashing out that Tony does at Bucky is totally justified. Well, not totally, but he knows that it's not going to change what happened. He knows that Bucky was possessed by Hydra, but he still just takes it out on Bucky. And, I mean, obviously, if in that moment, wouldn't you do that as well? Like, let's all be real, we would probably all do that. Also, we have a new villain named Baron Zemo, and he is actually a pretty good villain, because his plan is really complicated, and it doesn't make all too much sense, but I'm willing to overlook it because of his very understandable and realistic motivations. His family died because of what happened in Sokovia, and he wants to kill the Avengers. Honestly, I feel like this movie should have just been an Avengers movie. They introduced Black Panther in this film, and he has a really great arc in this film because he realizes that vengeance is not the answer. Baron Zemo killed his dad, but he decides not to let the vengeance consume him, and so he doesn't kill Zemo. But he also doesn't let Zemo kill himself. But his motivations are realistic, the Winter Soldier killed my dad, I'm gonna kill him. And it also just sets up his film by also having Bucky be in Wakanda in the end of the movie. Then we have Rhodey, and is it weird that this is the movie that he's the most important in, and it's a Captain America movie? I just feel like that's weird. He's a soldier, so it makes sense that he's on the side of Iron Man with the Accords, because he's like, well, it's the right thing to do. It's just weird. He has kind of sort of a big role, because his back gets broken during the airport scene. And I feel like it would have been a little bit better if Rhodey had died in that fall. When I watched the trailer for this movie, I thought that Rhodey did die. And I think they should have had him die because I like Rhodey, but the story would have been more impactful and it would have had bigger stakes if Rhodey had died. And it also just makes literally no sense that he survived the 1 mile up fall. In this movie, we get to see Vision again and his more human side, as he actually makes a mistake because he gets distracted and he's the one who breaks Rhodey's back by accident. So we get to see his more human side, and we get to see him and Scarlet Witch falling in love a little bit, which is still kind of weird, but I guess it makes sense. Scarlet Witch is back again, and she doesn't have a huge role, mostly because she's so overpowered that she would rip the other guys in half if she could. She just kind of goes along with Clint. I don't think she really has a choice in what side she joins. She just kind of doesn't want to be on Iron Man's side because Iron Man locks her in the Avengers facility. Because they're scared of her and what she can do. And honestly, they should be. We also have Hawkeye, and he's not really there for much. He's just kind of a cameo as well. But he says he's there out of retirement, away from his family, because he owes a debt to Wanda, which, because Quicksilver died trying to save Hawkeye, so, it makes sense. Black Widow also, Natasha. Her and Steve are still friends, but she decides to join the side of Iron Man with the Accords because she thinks that they should be put in check as well. But it doesn't stop her from breaking the rules of the Accords. It doesn't really make sense that they don't have any consequences for breaking the rules of the Accords. But it's just a little nitpicky thing, I guess. Falcon is there, and he doesn't do a ton, but he's on Captain America's side because they're really just friends, and that's really the only reason that they're on that side. I feel like Falcon probably should have been on the other side just because he is a soldier and he should know. But I guess he did go through the Winter Soldier along with Cap, so he knows that the government could also be corrupted, so it makes sense. And also Bucky, he has one of the biggest roles because he is finally not possessed by Hydra. And I still think he doesn't have he has a pretty big role in this movie where we already knew this, but Tony finds out obviously that he killed his mom and dad while he was possessed, and after the fight is over, Bucky realizes that he should probably go back into cryo sleep because he doesn't want to do too much damage on the world. And then there's Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, and I don't even know where to start with this character. He is fantastic. Like, honestly, every single time I see Tom Holland as Spider-Man, I'm just like, honestly, this is the definitive Peter Parker. The other two were fine, but this one is amazing. Many people have said this. Tobey Maguire, he was good as Peter Parker, but not good as Spider-Man. Then Andrew Garfield, he was good as Spider-Man, but not good as Peter Parker. And this one is good at both. Tony Stark is basically like Peter Parker's dad. He's like a father figure. And it was just an honor that he even got to go on the trip to Germany with Tony in the first place. And obviously it sets up his movie Spider-Man Homecoming. And then the last character, I believe, is Ant-Man. He's really, really fun in this movie, but it's really just a cameo. He doesn't do much. And there's also like some inconsistencies with the plot where it's like he says, yeah, what else is new, when he knows that he'll be outside the law. But the whole point of Ant-Man was about him not breaking the law anymore because he wanted to spend more time with Cassie. So it's kind of out of character for him, but I still like him in this movie. And we also get to see Giant Man, and that is just sick. Speaking of sick, every action scene in this movie is great. We have the beginning one with Crossbones. That one's cool. We have the one where Black Panther is chasing Bucky on the freeway. That one is cool. That one's just cool. I don't even know what to say about that. We have the one where Bucky's trying to escape in a helicopter and Steve has to hold the helicopter. And it's kind of just an excuse to show Chris Evans' muscles, but still. It's a great scene. And then we have the airport sequence, which is just perfect. It's just a perfect scene. Every character gets a moment to shine, and it's awesome. And of course, we have the final battle, which is against Iron Man versus Captain America and Bucky. And that one is just great because it's the most dramatic, it has the most stakes, and it's just, you're thinking like, is someone going to die in this? I don't know. And no one does die in this story, which does make it kind of like feel less impactful. But, I don't know, I guess Rhodey breaking his back kind of makes up for it, I don't know. And also the story just makes sense because in this universe, because you know that they don't want each other actually dead. Because these characters have spent so many movies together already. So obviously they don't want each other dead. And I guess I just have like one nitpick. Well, I've already done a couple nitpicks, but here's one more. They had this plot about, like the subplot about there being multiple Winter Soldiers, but it was kind of pointless and it didn't really mean anything. So, I don't know why it was there. But yeah, this movie was really good, and I didn't do that. that was a legit mistake. So yeah, this movie was really good. I loved it, and it's definitely my favorite of the Captain America trilogy. That might be controversial, it's just my opinion. So yeah, I think I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Because it does kind of have a few inconsistencies with characters, and it doesn't have any stakes or whatever, you know, there's some plot threads that are pointless, but, you know what, I don't care, this movie was great. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this review, then maybe leave a like and subscribe, that'd be pretty cool. That was the start of Phase 3. Tomorrow we move on to Doctor Strange. See you then. Bye, guys.